Shalom and greetings, everybody, in the wonderful name of Yeshua HaMashiach. Today is the 23rd day of the 10th month on Elohim's Zadok, Priest, Enoch, Dead Sea Scroll, Solar Calendar. Nick Vanderlaan here, and Brother Nick, and I am broadcasting this message from Indio, California. This video is going to be part of the temple location series that I've been working on, titled Qumran, Temple Location Found, ? On ancient map of Jerusalem, and also this message is to refute Jim Barfield. So let's go ahead and get started in this presentation. So if any of you don't know Jim Barfield is a former private detective, I believe. He discovered and made some great, amazing discoveries. I'm not here to take away from the discoveries he's made. In fact, I want to share the discoveries he's made. There was a copper scroll that was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it turned out to be a treasure map, and he located all of the locations of this treasure map to be in Qumran. This is a rendition of the copper scroll right here. This is how the copper scroll was found. It was rolled up, and these are the pieces, as you can see right here, of the copper scroll that was taken. And I think there was 4 authors over the scroll, Jeremiah and Haggai being 2 of them, I believe is supposed to be reported. So this video is one of Jim Barfield's recent videos. He was with the Temple Mount Report, and he made a video on the copper scroll. I endorse his findings. Now, Jim, I want to make sure if I endorse Jim Barfield's findings, I do want to let you guys know, beware, because he buddies and cozies up with the Sanhedrin. I'm skeptical of that, and I want everybody to be aware that he does that, and I don't believe that anyone should be buddying up with the Sanhedrin. And also this group, the Temple Mount Report group, which maybe I'll make a video on, but it seems there's something real strange going on. Everybody's wearing head coverings, and we know head coverings from Pharisaic Judaism. There is no command in the Torah to wear head coverings. All of these quote-unquote believers in Yeshua are part of this group. They're either wearing kippahs or little skull caps while they're indoors talking. So again, it's something that we should talk about. Just watch out for that. But a recent video that I'm about to share with you guys is Leland Jones, Brother Leland Jones's video, who I met up while I was in Jerusalem, shared some of my findings on the Temple Mount, my ideas, and he actually just produced this video today, 8 hours ago, regarding the Qumran map. And that is actually what this video I was actually working on. He didn't share this with me until now, after publishing his video. I'm actually had my video lined up and queuing it, and I'm shooting it right now. I'm sharing it with you. So some of Leland's findings is what I found. Now, I don't know, we haven't talked about what his precise location is. Maybe him and I will discuss that, but it's something to consider going forward. So I endorse that video that Leland put out. So here's Qumran. Qumran was a community of the Ahad, and they were a sect of righteous Zadok priests, not the Essenes. The Essenes were down here in Engedi or Masada. He was down here. The righteous Zadok priests were here in Qumran, which was east, a little bit east and south of Jerusalem. Here is the Dead Sea right here, and this is where the community was. And this right here is a wadi. This wadi will take you all the way up to Jerusalem. But as you can see, this community is a little bit up on the slope here, and it overlooks the Dead Sea. There's some freshwater springs right over here, and there was an aqueduct that they had running through the community. We'll take a look at it. And here is a valley that was made from the mountains. The runoff would come down during the big storms, and the water would rush down here and flow out to the Dead Sea. Now, this is the ruins of Qumran. This is where believed to be John the Baptist was located. Obviously, Yeshua would have came here. They had the book of Hanok or Enoch that was kept here, and this is probably where Yeshua did some of his studying, or his disciples as well. So what stuck out to me when I saw that map was this picture right here. As I just showed it, here's the picture of this, and then when you look next to it, here is a square of Solomon's temple. This is what would be called the Temple Mount location, not that weird trapezoid that all the Jews say is Temple Mount, which is really Fortress Antonia. And again, I endorse Leland's findings. He just made published some amazing findings, more proof why the Temple Mount is really Fortress Antonia. So hallelujah. Here is an outline of Qumran, that community on the Dead Sea. And here is a map of Jerusalem at the time of Jerusalem during the time of Jeremiah. There's some similarities. Now, when you invert this picture and you flip it, Qumran matches up a little bit with Jerusalem. You have a double entry mikveh here, and at the bottom you have the pool of Siloam, and that was a double entry pool. And you have a double entry mikveh. You have the water system flowing, actually from this aqueduct flowing down here, and here you have the Gihon Spring, which was under David's palace area, not under the temple, under David's palace. You can't put the temple on top of David's palace. Remember, it says that David looked up when he saw the angel of Yahweh and he was about to destroy Jerusalem. That's when David made the sacrifice. But he looked up. Look at my previous videos. This is where Jim Barfield believes that, he believes that this map right here proves that the temple is right here, because this is the house of the righteous. This is where the leader of the Yahad, the leader, John the Baptist's room would have been, or this is where he would have spoke out of, and therefore he's saying that this is the column of Boaz, that this is this room, so therefore this is the area of the temple, and I disagree. Here is now the map with this outline that he's saying. It's not an exact match, but he's saying it parallels it. And again, he says that this is the high priest's room, Zadok, the righteous one's room, and therefore that this is where the temple is. And again, Jim Barfield is mistaken, because the temple, the base of the temple was a square. So when I look at here, what could possibly be a square? A square has 90-degree angles, 4 90-degree angles. And can anyone see anything that constitutes 90-degree angles? Here's one here. Here's a 90-degree angle here. Here's some 90-degree angles here, it looks like. Are these even? We have to get some measurements. But again, I disagree with this. This is where the king's palace, if this is a map, the king's palace would have been here at the top where the Gihon Spring came out. And David was looking up, it says. He looked up. The temple also runs east to west. East to west. And as you see, west is right here. Jim Barfield has this going north to south. So if this building, little building right here that Jim Barfield identifies the temple in this map of Jerusalem, of Qumran, the architects would have built this building east to west. But this building is clearly built north to south. And again, this is a trapezoid. Okay, and the temple, just because current Temple Mount is a trapezoid, doesn't mean that it's a trapezoid. Temple platform is a square platform. So again, we're looking for a square platform. So again, I believe that this location that Jim Barfield identifies the temple is more so in line with the city of Salem, because that later became the ancient city of Jebus, and later the city of David. But the city of Salem, or Salam, is where Melchizedek, Melech Zadok, ruled and reigned from. And remember, he had no lineage. So this, I believe, the reason why this is the high priest's room over the pool, because right next to the Gihon Spring there was the pool. Remember, when Solomon was anointed king, he was taken down to the king's pool. And so therefore, this, I believe, represents David's palace, or the palace of Melech King Zadok, righteousness, the king of righteousness. And we know the king of righteousness to be Yeshua HaMashiach, hallelujah. So again, there's several problems with Jim Barfield's idea that this is the temple. We're looking for a square. Now, the temple is, the building itself is a rectangle, and it runs west to east, east to west, not north to south. Here is another map of Qumran. This is like a blueprint, and it looks a lot more to scale of all the drawings that I can find. As you see, this is Jim Barfield's idea. It's not a square. I looked on the map, and where do you have a square? You have a square right here. You also have what could be a square right here, and another square could be right here. But this, as you can see, if this is the Kidron Valley running through right through here, and this is the spring is running through here, this would have been the house of the righteous one, where King Zadok lives, Melchizedek lived, and this is where King David would have lived. And King David would have looked up, which what I believe is to the west. We're not going north, south, east, west here, but this is obviously to the left of, here's another place of another square possibly, and then another square possibly here. And these areas all line up with what I've talked about before. This is where you will find Mount Zion to be. So this is an artist's rendition of this whole area. As you can see, this building right here, it's lifted up, the guardhouse. I believe they also counted money here. But it's almost a square base. And here's another rendition, a 90 degree, 90 degree, 90 degree. This is according to Lean Rittmeyer's work. And then you have this building. Now, they would have prayed at the high place, and as you can see, they have a little rooftop here. Maybe they would have prayed here at the highest place of this area. Remember, Peter, he went on the roof to pray. He knew how the righteous pray. Again, this is some findings that I wanted to bring to your attention. The map of ancient Jerusalem at Qumran, and more than likely either this square, this big square, or this square represents this temple area, because there was a lot of things that went on in the temple. The storehouses right here, the women's court, and everything else. So again, I just want to draw your attention to Jim Barfield's work on the copper scroll. This is other support of a map of ancient Jerusalem showing the temple to be basically to the west of the Gihon Spring. And so I'm signing off for now, and I'll be putting out a new video coming up on the temple altar dedication.